Okay, thanks everyone. This is an introduction to the Kroll SF6 instructional video on cleaning the SF6 boiler. This is the Kroll SF6 boiler. Very important, everyone, that if you are going to clean this thing, you've got to turn the burner gun off. And we recommend turn it off at the toggle switch, turn it off at the controller, and just to be triple sure, disconnect the 7-pin power plug from the burner gun socket. Okay, so again, let's just emphasise that safety aspect. Okay, make sure that burner gun power is off, make sure the controller's off, make sure the burner gun's disconnected, make sure the toggle switch is off. Okay, start up. Okay everyone, this is Pete and Greg from Kroll Heaters in Dandenong, and we're just going to rush through a movie here of cleaning one of our small cast iron boilers. What you need obviously is a pair of gloves for personal protection. The boilers are all supplied with cleaning brushes, so we've got that there. On this video I won't wear this, but if you're going to clean the boiler you get dust everywhere, so I suggest you put a dust protector on your face and around your mouth and nose. And it's also a real good idea to have a vacuum cleaner here, one of these cheap ones from Auto Pro or something similar. Good vacuum cleaner for picking up all your soot and dust. Okay, so just over here we've got a boiler that's just currently switched off. And what I'm going to do is turn the power off there just to make sure we're all safe. And this one in fact is a nice clean boiler. So what we're going to do is go over to a pretty dirty boiler and just talk about the bits and pieces about cleaning it. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so open this up. Boiler on the outside looks nice and clean, but of course what we've got on the inside here is a fair bit of dust and soot, so possibly when your boiler gets to a level of soot concentration that's like this, you might want to start cleaning this. Now the golden rule with these things is you clean them from the top down. These ports or holes here, or galleries, whatever you want to call them, the heat exchanger ports, you've got to clean them out with a brush, which I'll just demonstrate right here. Push it all the way to the end and back, and of course you've got your mask on and so on. So you continue cleaning these out. Now you again would normally start from the top. Okay, so clean all the top ports, in and out a few times, and then you would move down to the bottom. Okay, now the next thing is all the dust obviously gravitates down. You would remove the internal fire bricks just from the top, and then you get your brush in and you give these heat exchanger ribs a good clean. Now again, all the dust is falling down. Okay, now the dust that builds up in this combustion chamber, you've probably only got to clean it once every 6 months. A lot of the dust will fall down into the ashtray at the bottom. Good idea to clean that out. Okay, so you might get your vacuum cleaner at this stage and vacuum all the dust from all around in here that's fallen into the grill and on the fire bricks. Now the next thing is, when you're inserting this bottle brush in these heat exchanger galleries, you're going to push dust forward as you push it in, and dust will come back as it pulls it out. So the next place to check once you've done these heat exchanger galleries, very quickly, come around the back feet, is the T-piece on the back. You would drop the plate off there or gain access into the T-piece and vacuum the soot out of the bottom there. And here we've got the spigot mounted on the back of the boiler. Just hold the shot on there, please. that dust that you push forward from the heat exchanger gallery, it'll drop in here and you can see it there. I'll grab a handful, okay? So you get your vacuum cleaner in there, give that a good vacuum out. And once that's done, it's all clean. The only other thing you would do, everyone, is, and let's go back over to this other boiler, Pete. Just after you've made sure everything's powered off here, you would get in there and you'd give, seeing as how you're going to open the door up, you'd give the electrodes right here, grab a toothbrush or a brush and give the electrodes a nice clean. As soon as that, you've gone to all the trouble of opening the door. That's pretty much it. So just to summarise, bottle brush, personal protection equipment, face mask on, clean out the heat exchanger galleries or ports from the top down.
Switch the power off. Make sure you switch
the power off. We've switched the power off on the toggle, on the burner gun, but we'll turn it off on the controller. And again, to clean under these ribs here, you would remove these fire bricks. Obviously, once you finish cleaning, you put everything back the way it was. Put a vacuum cleaner in there, vacuum all the soot up. Again, you don't have to do the vacuuming in here probably more often than 2 monthly, 4 monthly, 6 monthly, depending on the use. And again, take out the tray in the bottom of the boiler and put that in the rubbish. Okay, that's it everyone, thank you.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so we're ready to go. Okay, these, the objective of this little video today is to just see the major components of a couple of our popular small burner guns. This one on my right here is the BR5, that's about a 50 kilowatt burner. And you can see it's a BR5 pretty quick because it's about our only small burner that's in the blue colour. And then on my left here is a BR10. This is a burner that produces a flame up to about 100 to 110 kilowatts, which is about 900 800 millimetres long. You'll immediately notice similarities between the two burners. Pretty much all that changes with these BR series burners is you want a bigger flame, the size of the burner gets bigger. So functionally they're virtually identical. Okay, so let's have a look at the BR10, and there'd be hundreds of these around Australia. This is where the flame comes out, so we'll take this blast tube off, and to do that I'm going to have to remove very quickly a grub screw here and remove the blast tube. And what we're going to do is just have a look at the nozzle and the electrodes and have a quick chat about them. Let's put that down over there. Okay, so this is the business end of the burner. It's this steel nozzle, which is quite large, which is where the vapour comes out and is ignited by this pair of electrodes sitting above it. Okay, even at this stage it's worth mentioning, obviously you don't like to have a lot of carbon build-up around here, so a lot of people have problems with poor ignition can be due just to carbon build-up. That's fixed very easily, it's just by wiping the electrodes. We'll talk more about that later. This ring around here is, we call it here a diffuser ring, or a diffuser plate, and the idea of this thing is to create, push the vapours forward and create a spiral twisting vapour stream which is ignited and produces a spiral of flame. Has a very nice effect. Okay, just coming back here a little bit, you'll see these porcelain pipes here, insulators there, they're just to support this pair of electrodes here. Coming back here is one of the modifications that we do here, and there's a little heat rod there, and that heat rod keeps the vapours nice and warm as they shoot forward down this nozzle pipe. Okay, let's go back and look at the body of the BR10 here. If you're talking to us on the phone, we'll normally refer to this as the scroll. It's the chassis of the burner, and it's very solid and very heavy. Sitting above that is the ignition transformer. It produces the spark. Sitting behind that is the controller, and it's got various safety functions, such as detecting that there's a nice flame, and also looking for darkness at the beginning of the ignition phase. This button here is a flame failure switch, and that'll go bright red if the burner's gone out for some reason. Okay, just moving back over here. Major pieces on this are the silver wheel here, which you adjust by slightly undoing the brass nut and increasing the amount of oil or flame length. The bigger the number, the bigger the flame. Now when you do that, obviously if you're adding more fuel to the fire or the flame, you've got to increase the air. So you would open up this what's called secondary air supply window here to give it more air. Okay, so part of trimming the burner gun and setting it up is to get the oil and air combination right, and that's very simple. But if you get it wrong, it looks horrible, and you get horrible black smoke coming out of the flue. Well, when the gun's trimmed okay, nice, no problems there. Okay, okay, so that's the silver wheel to adjust the flame length. Sitting on the back here, I'm going to remove a cover, and what we're going to see is the heat rod and the thermostat that senses the oil temperature set point inside the burner. Okay, so just pull that out and remove the loom of wires here. And what we can see is up here we've got a thermostat, and it's got a wheel on it, and currently right now that's set to 80, just under 80. Now it's on 80. This thermostat turns off and on a heat rod here that fits in the back of the preheat chamber here. And the idea of the heat rod and the thermostat is to get the waste oil up to a nice, dribbly, viscous shape, so that it'll create a nice vapour and we'll have no ignition problems. Okay, so that's the heat rod, that's the thermostat. From time to time we might ask people to increase or decrease that temperature depending on the type of oil. If it's real dribbly oil, we might ask them to turn it down to about 30 to 40 degrees. Okay. While we're over here, just sitting under the silver wheel here is a Y strainer or Y filter that we add here at the factory, and this draws hot oil in from the preheat chamber, and that oil is drawn through and up into here via a little pump that's hidden inside this housing. Okay. Now that Y strainer has to be cleaned and examined periodically. We'd recommend initially when you get a burner gun to check it out after 2 weeks or at least 4 weeks, and it depends on the quality of your waste oil. The more rubbish is in it, the more dirt will end up in here. So that's a filter. It's very important. It's small, but it's important. And there's another filter over here that's the major oil input strainer. Now this fitting here is a 1/2 inch to 1 inch oil pipeline, and the waste oil comes in gravity fed into the preheat chamber here, and that's our oil supply. Okay, all that oil runs through a quite a coarse strainer here. Now I've got one here. Okay, there's a spare preheat tank. looks identical to that one over there. And we'll just have a quick look at this. This is another very important little filter, and it's only about a 1mm mesh or slightly less, but it'll catch any rubbish that comes out of your oil supply system. Okay, now it's very important again for you people that have just got a new burner gun that you check this out and clean it about every 2 weeks to 4 weeks. If you do get a gun and it's all running nice, you have a look at it after 2 weeks, and if it's real clean then you don't have to do it again, you know, maybe have a look at it 4 weeks later and so on. But if it's filthy, then maybe you should check it out every week. Okay, so 2 filters that you must clean. The Y strainer filter here and this the main filter here. By the way, that's a 32mm hex head. Okay, so they're the filters. Just quickly above that, how much time have we got to go, Jim?
2:26.
Okay, just above that, what we've got, this pump, its output, okay, so just backing up a little bit, inside here I mentioned before there's a pump, it's a little piston pump, and the amplitude of that piston, or the size of the swing and the pressure it creates, is varied by the silver wheel there. Okay, so the bigger flame, you want a bigger flame, more pressure. Its output comes in here. Now this oil, hot oil, comes out of there and goes into this thing called a solenoid valve. Okay, now this solenoid valve is switched off or on through this cable, 240 volts, by the controller. Sometimes this can end up with some rubbish in it, and we might ask you to take the 1, 2, 3 connections off that and disassemble it and clean it. That doesn't happen that often, but that might happen to you. It's about a 5-minute job to pull it apart and clean it. Okay, we'll get back onto that later. Just while we're okay, so that's the solenoid valve. If you hear us mention the word solenoid valve, or you read about it in the manual that comes with all the burner guns and is available on our website for free, that's the solenoid valve. Okay, just another couple of points of interest. The air input, the air gets sucked into the oil-air mixing chamber, which is built into the preheat tank. That's the air input there. It's quite simple. It'll just sucks air in from inside the scroll. The output, once oil and air have been mixed together and compressed slightly by the internal compressor here, the oil goes out to the nozzle via the oil pipeline. So that's the oil output. So that's in fact got mist in it. So that'll have the oil and the air mixed, slightly compressed, and a nice little vapour, and that squirts out to the nozzle, and that gets ignited. Okay, just another major item here is we've got the degassing pipe. Okay, so the next time we'll see you, we'll just continue on our little chat here. So that's the degassing pipe. Bye for now.